So when it comes to scaling an e-commerce brand, what most people are going to tell you to do is run Facebook ads, run Google ads, focus on creatives, build landing pages, optimize your conversion rate, do email marketing. The problem I have with this is that those things alone are not going to allow you to scale an e-commerce brand successfully and also maintain that scale in the current market conditions. And it actually annoys me that these are the only things that are being pushed and not the things that I'm going to be talking about in the video today. And the honest truth is that most people are pushing those things because they have something to sell you on the back end. And I'm creating this video today just to give it to you guys straight, just to tell you what we're doing with our clients, what I'm seeing in terms of how to grow and then maintain that growth of an e-commerce brand in 2025 and beyond. And speaking from experience, having scaled numerous brands to the 7 and 8 figure range. The thing is, if you not only want to grow your e-commerce brand, but also want to survive in the current market conditions, most e-commerce brands are not going to be able to survive without the things that I'm going to be talking about in this video today, okay? So without further ado, let's get straight into it. If you're new here, my name is Jordan Hayes. I run a marketing agency. We work with a handful of e-commerce brands. We are a boutique agency. We don't work with a ton of clients. Our whole model is we work with less clients. We partner with them for years. We run their ads, we optimize the funnel, conversion optimization, landing pages, email marketing, pretty much customer acquisition, customer retention, but our clients also see us as partners in terms of how we can advise them on growing their business. And that is really what I wanted to dive deeper into today to, again, just show you some proof that I'm somewhat qualified to talk around scale and growth of e-commerce brand the last 365 days. An e-commerce brand, we work with $8.8 million in sales. So with that out of the way, let's get straight into it. So here's what everyone tells you to do. You run Meta and Google ads, you focus on ad creative and you have a strong offer, you use landing pages and optimize the website, and you have a solid email marketing program. And these things are good. You should do these things. However, the big but, only focusing on this creates problems. And if you're in the current situation where you're scaling your e-commerce brand, maybe you're doing somewhere between 50K a month and 200K a month, and things were going well, but now you're starting to see rising CPAs, your CPMs are going up, your CPCs are going up, your conversion rate's going down, things aren't working as well as they used to, then that is a symptom of only focusing on these things and not the other things that I'm about to cover right now. So with that said, why is this a problem? What problems does it create? Well, the first thing is that you're overly reliant on paid ads. If this is maybe not your only customer acquisition source, but the main one, and the other ones are dwarfed in terms of like how much you're spending on ads or how much you're focusing on ads, that is reliance, right? You're overly reliant on that as a customer acquisition source. And what this leads to is it leads to rising CPAs that are hard to combat. If you have rising CPAs, you know that they can be hard to combat. It's hard to diagnose the problem and where it's really coming from. It leads to rising CPAs. And then you get a decline in profitability or a revenue plateau. And then, it always comes back to it's an ad problem, it's a marketing problem, my agency sucks, right? This is the usual case scenario, and I've seen this many, many times. And, to give you guys a visual of how this looks, it really just means that you have, one source of water to fill your bucket. And metaphorically, if you only have one source that you're focusing on, if the pipe breaks, the water supply gets, diminished, and ultimately the rate at which you can fill that bucket is going to be slower, because even if you have that tap turned on to its highest potential, there's only so much water that can flow through that pipe at one time. So there's only so fast you can fill that bucket. And then when the water starts running out, the rate at which that bucket fills up slows down. And to expand on this metaphor even further, what most brands are is they're not this kind of bucket. It's actually this bucket with a lot of holes in it, right? So you're filling water, but a lot of that water that's coming in is leaking out of the holes. So that could be lost conversions, it could be conversions that aren't leading to repeat purchases, right? Multiple things. So this is really the visual that I want you guys to keep in mind. So what is the new way to scale an e-commerce brand? And we're talking strictly direct to consumer here. We're not talking about retail, wholesale, Amazon. We're talking about direct to consumer, right? E-commerce website, Shopify website, and you are acquiring customers direct to consumer. So what is the new way? Well, I've got this diagram here that we're going to go through, and really what I want to focus on is this diagram of a funnel. And I'm going to start at the top, I'm going to work my way down, I'm going to talk about some accompanying things and really give you guys the visual of how this all comes together. So the first thing is, rather than being overly reliant on paid ads, we need to start expanding our customer acquisition sources. So of course, paid ads, continue running paid ads. I'm saying these things, and my agency is the one that services paid ads, ad creative, landing pages, CRO, email marketing, right? So the things that I just told you, don't overly rely on these, do those things, but don't overly rely on them. Those are things that my agency does, right? So, even though we do them and that's how I make money, I'm still here telling you guys, if you only do those things, you're in trouble. And I guess that does prove that, with our clients, we're really partners, right? We are so much more than just the ads guys or the guys that acquire customers and retain customers. We're here to help them navigate that growth. So yes, you should be running paid ads. However, you need to be adding other sources of traffic and acquisition to your mix. First one, organic traffic, social media content. This is through your own platforms. You can also leverage this through other platforms, which becomes more like an affiliate thing, influencer marketer thing, which we're going to touch on in just a moment. However, organic traffic, you should be posting content on Instagram. You should be posting content on YouTube, on TikTok, wherever your audience is. Even if it's Pinterest, post on Pinterest. You need to be positioned. And the thing with organic traffic is like, it's all about like positioning yourself where the flow is already going, right? So imagine like, there's a flow of customers coming through a specific area of town. You're just positioning yourself where all those customers are already flowing through. So you're leveraging that existing traffic and you're just redirecting it towards your brand and your website. So that's the first thing. The next thing is influencer marketing partnerships. And it's funny because a lot of the brands I talk to, they discredit influencer marketing because most people have been burned by influencer marketing in the past, right? They've tried it because, it was really big, especially like 2016, 2017, 2018. A lot of brands were jumping on it. But what happened was they paid a ton of money for these influencer marketing partnerships, which didn't return ROI. And yes, that can still happen today. However, what we are doing is we are finding influencers who we can partner with, ideally on like a commission level basis, but also it's a multifaceted partnership. They're not only posting on their platforms and generating traffic through their platforms, but we're also able to create new content with them and also do whitelisting and partnership ads, right? So it kind of links back to the ads and running paid ads that I was talking about and makes them perform even better. So influencer marketing partnerships, and then you want to have something else additional, something that's different. So podcast advertising is something that is, a big opportunity for e-commerce brands this year and beyond. It's something that you can employ. Out of home advertising as well. Like this is things that are more like traditional outside of home, just outside advertising, billboards, signage, like anything else you see, even like in-person activations, pop-up stores, like whatever it may be. And a quick strategy for out of home advertising, you already have data, like you likely already have data. If you're watching this video, you're running an e-commerce brand, you likely already have data on the specific cities where you get the most customers. So double down on those cities, right? If the cities are Dallas, Texas, and Los Angeles, those are your two ones, maybe New York City as well, like those three top cities, then do out-of-home advertising in those cities, right? Or it could be activations where if you're selling a supplement, then maybe choose a few yoga studios or a few Pilates studios and do a product activation in those studios. It's kind of like more boots on the ground marketing where you are expanding deeper into those cities. The whole goal here is to increase awareness because, if we look at the funnel and how this translates, it's increasing top of funnel awareness and traffic. And a lot of these things, especially, I see myself as an ads guy. I started in 2016 running Facebook ads. Ads are amazing. It's what, it's allowed me to, scale my business. However, I've matured over the years and, really seen how you can't just be overly reliant on ads. You need to increase top of funnel awareness and traffic. Even if it seems like, it's a waste of money, trust me, it's not, because what is happening is that all of these things here that we're seeing are feeding into each other. Everything kind of goes your organic traffic, right? More people are seeing you, more touch points, more people are interacting with you and your brand on social media. That's going to feed into your paid ads audiences. Your influencer marketing partnership, someone sees your brand on an influencer marketing partnership, guess what? It's going to lead to more trust, more authority, so that when they see your ads, they are more likely to click and convert, especially if they see the same influencer in those ads. Your influencer marketing content, you can also repost it on organic. You can post your out of home stuff on your organic. You can take your influencer marketing partnerships and do them in person, right, out of home. And the out of home, when someone sees something out of home from you as a brand, guess what? When they see your ads, they already know the brand, right? So they're more likely to interact. So all this stuff feeds into each other. And this is why it's so powerful. It's because previously, right, we were only relying on running Meta and Google ads. Now, however, we have this ecosystem, right? That is what we're building. We're building a multi-touch point ecosystem where customers can know us, they like us, and they trust us, which means they're more likely to convert. The conversion rate's higher and the CPA gets driven down. So let's move into the second stage of the funnel. And this is really where you're driving that traffic to. Once you have that traffic, where are you pushing that traffic to? And a few things you want to do. Landing pages, of course, you want to have your own landing pages. These are really used to educate the traffic. You want to have listicles, you want to have advertorials, and you really want to find what works best for you as a brand in terms of the audience that you're trying to direct. And have another video on my channel where I go deeper into the kind of the customer stages of awareness, right? The stages of awareness within a market. And based on those stages, you want to have different landing pages and different messaging for those stages, right? So that will be linked up above. You can check that out. The next thing you obviously need to focus on is conversion rate optimization, A/B testing, to increase conversion rate, to introduce new offers, to increase AOV, right? You should be running A/B testing on your website. If you're not doing that already, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. And then you also want to be leveraging editorial pages from third parties, affiliates. These could be press articles, it could be small niche blogs like mom blogs, it could be affiliate marketers, anything that's third party, because Because sometimes if you're driving traffic, let's say from influencer marketing partnerships, it may be a good idea to diversify some of where that traffic is going to, right? Maybe you want to send some of that traffic to your own landing pages, but then you might want to send some other traffic to an editorial page hosted on a third party that even drives more authority. And eventually that page links back to your website. So you're ultimately getting that traffic to come back through, but it's just a way to educate that traffic without directly coming from your brand and being biased. And really this middle stage is all about educating traffic, increasing conversion rate and AOV, right? So we're getting the traffic, and then we are increasing the conversion rate of that traffic ultimately. Finally, at the bottom of the funnel, you have your email and SMS marketing. This is really where we're talking about increasing repeat purchase rate, increasing lifetime value. Because look, if you really want to scale an e-commerce brand and maintain that scale, it's not just about lowering your CPAs and acquiring customers, because there's only so much you can do that. Even with all the things we spoke about in this video in terms of increasing top of funnel awareness and traffic, you're only going to be able to get your CPA to a certain amount, where after that becomes unrealistic to expect anything less, right? Especially if you want to continue increasing your ad spend. So what we have to do is we have to shift our focus then to LTV. How do we increase the lifetime value of the customer on the back end once we've acquired them? And there's multiple ways to do this. Email and SMS marketing is the main way that you can increase the LTV, but the vehicle that allows you to do that is getting customers to buy more products, right? Either more of the same product, increase in terms of increasing frequency of that purchase, or buying other products that you have, right? And this, something that I wanted to tie all this together, something that I wanted to mention was, you need to launch new products in order to continue growing, because that is how you appeal to more segments of the market, not just on your top of funnel awareness, but it's also how you increase lifetime value through these methods that we're talking about here. Email and SMS marketing is just one of those methods. Community, word of mouth. So this is like building your own community. Let's just say you're building your own Discord community, you're building something on Circle, a Facebook group, whatever it is a place where you can stay in front of existing customers. And also the word of mouth marketing, this is really just comes from a good customer experience, but you can also introduce incentives for those that refer other friends and family, because word of mouth is exponential and it's either going to work for you or against you, right? So you really want it to be working for you. And that's going to increase not only the lifetime value, but it's also going to increase the amount of new customers coming into your business, right? So this again feeds back into the top of the funnel. And then we also have direct mail, right? Direct mail is another way which you can send to, we mainly use it to send it to like existing customers, because we want to increase LTV. The likelihood that they interact with that direct mail is higher because they already know our brand, they've already seen us, they've already purchased from us, so there's already a relationship there. Can you do direct mail for non-customers? Yes, it is harder to crack, however, and you need really good unit economics on the back end to make it work. If I were you, I would just focus on using direct mail for your existing customers and get them to repeat purchase from you. And really, as I mentioned, what we're doing is we're trying to increase LTV and word of mouth, but while also, as I mentioned, it feeds the top of funnel again, because a lot of these things are, even with email and SMS marketing, you are converting non-customers on your list into customers, right? So a lot of this is multifaceted. And as I mentioned, to tie this all together on the side, you need to be launching new products. Another thing is expanding into new countries. Once you reach a certain size, it makes sense to then expand geographically. What this can also do is, as a business, it creates some diversification in terms of the countries and the geographies in which you're operating in, so that you are diversifying your portfolio in a way as well. So just to give you guys a visual of how this changes things. We had one tap, one faucet filling a bucket here, but now we have 4 different faucets filling the same bucket, right? So that bucket is going to increase faster. We're also plugging more holes in the bucket because we're focusing on LTV, and you can start to see how everything comes together. However, there is one more thing that's vital for us to consider, and that is none of this matters, none of this actually works and is actually going to be beneficial unless we have the underlying principle, and that is P&L optimization. By P&L, I mean profit and loss statement, one of the financial statements that you should be getting every single month from your accountants. So honestly, it baffles me how many e-commerce brands do not have P&Ls that are clear, or they're not getting it every month from their accountants. Secondly, it also baffles me how agencies out there, marketers out there are still not yet integrated into the financial side of the business. And I'm not pointing fingers and blaming other agencies. That's not what I'm doing. All I'm saying is that there needs to be a link between marketing and finance. And if you try and do all of these things that I spoke about, if you do all of these things, which is great, trust me, if you do not have a clear way to achieve profitability and maintain profitability over the next year, none of this is going to matter. Yes, you might get lucky and find something that works and it all of a sudden becomes profitable. However, trust me, you need to be doing budgeting and forecasting on your P&L as well. You don't just need to be getting historical data and saying, oh, last month we actually were profitable. Great, let's do something similar this month. Like, that is not a strategy. What you need to be doing is you need to be using your past P&L data to forecast future P&Ls P&Ls, you should be forecasting the next few quarters right now, and you should be looking at, okay, based on our current operating expenses, are those optimized, right? Can we cut some costs? Can we reduce the amount of apps we're spending on? Is our team too bloated, right? Can we lean down the team? You can also look at your gross margin and your product COGS. Is there a way that you can optimize those? Like when you start to look at the P&L and you start to understand how you can optimize it, then you can create a clear path of profitability. But what you can also do is it allows you to set clear target metrics for your customer acquisition. So when it comes to these things that we spoke about here, in terms of running paid ads, in terms of doing organic traffic, in terms of doing influencer marketing partnerships, all this stuff, when it comes to actually setting aside an ad budget and setting aside a target for your marketing efficiency ratio, your blended ROAS, whatever it may be, whatever you're focusing on, it is vital. It is incredibly important. I cannot stress this enough. That is clear on your P&L that if we were to spend this amount and generate this amount in return and have all these costs, we will achieve profitability by the end of the month, okay? So really, without the P&L, none of this stuff matters. It is the underlying principle of everything we spoke about today. And yeah, the first thing you can do if you don't already have this in place is get your accountants to send you a P&L every single month. Second thing you do is start looking at that P&L and start looking at ways you can optimize your operating expenses, which is really the easiest thing you can do right now, is look at the operating expenses of the business and try and optimize those, try and cut costs. The third thing, which is a little bit harder to do, is start to optimize your product COGS, which is really your deals with your manufacturers, your suppliers, your 3PL. If you're using a 3PL, if you're using your own warehouse, it's different. And then of course you can use the P&L, you can use those numbers to start to forecast ahead of time and start to set clear targets so that you know if you were to achieve those targets, you will achieve profitability. So hopefully this gives you a very clear overview of the new way to scale an e-commerce brand in 2025 and beyond. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments down below. And I'm creating this video today, just as I mentioned, it annoys me that a lot of people just push the same stuff over and over again. You need to be producing ad creatives, you need to be running meta ads, you need to be using landing pages. And look, there's a lot of content on my channel about those things because it is important, and a lot of brands don't get those things right. These are the fundamental things that you do need to get right. However, I want you to start thinking in terms of a holistic approach and an ecosystem to scaling an e-commerce brand. It's no longer running meta ads to a landing page, convert the customer, send them some emails, increase the LTV. It's no longer like that. It does not work. What you need to do is you need to create an ecosystem, because as the advertising costs rise, as the competition rises, you need to be building a moat around your business, and you need to be less reliant on single platforms that are driving your business growth. So that is all for this video. Let me know if you have any questions. As I mentioned, let me know if you want to see more videos like this. I'm happy to create them, happy to go deeper into any of these things. But yeah, that is all for this video. I will see you in the next one.